Gut. Gut. Ja. Schauen wir mal. Schauen wir mal. So viele Sachen zu tun. You. Oh, geil. Geld rum, nice. Habe ich eigentlich noch Flaschen? Ja. There are 3 drivers. 2 davon haben wir schon gefunden. Keine Ahnung, wo der dritte ist. Was haben wir da noch? Das haben wir noch nicht gesehen. Box of sunglasses. There's a pile of cheap sunglasses in a small box, a variety of shapes. Variety of shapes and colors.
You like sunglasses, officer?
Yeah.
I've got the latest styles right here.
Sticks them under your nose. Try the shades on. Abort! These are hideous. What's more, they don't even fit your face. You can feel them pinching your nose and chafing against your brow. Damn, officer, you look like a mega secret spa. Very secret. Man nods eagerly. They're practically made for you. I'll let you have them for 2 real and 50 cents. They're perfect for concealing your bloodshot and baggy eyes. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to take you seriously with these things on your face. No. The lieutenant gently removes the glasses from your face, setting you free again. You're definitely not buying those. Don't tell me what to do, Kim. I like those sunglasses. No, I can't. We can't walk around with you looking like this. His hand has already risen mid-air, but he stops. Okay, fine. Go ahead. If you want to look like a walking midlife crisis, then who am I to interfere? Rummage through the box. These are all boring third-rate hoo-hum sunglasses made of cheap Zerais plastic, the kind of plastic that melts in the sun. These are all first-rate sunglasses, the man declares. Premium design, superb material, very cool, UV resistant. These will definitely keep your eyes safe and cool while doing your dangerous police work. 3%. Maybe you can find some interesting sunglasses. Natürlich nicht. No luck. All you find is this lime-colored cellophane visor produced by a bargain sportswear brand called Amphibian. Apparently, there's a malformed green frog on its bent cap. Oh, that visor is perfect for you, officer. It'll definitely keep the sun out of your eyes while you're shooting criminals. Street vendor makes a bang sound. And all for mere 6 real. At least it might actually offer some protection against the sun, not like those cheap plastic shades. Can a firefight something we should be prepared for? I hope not. he says, looking up from his browsing. Ich brauche noch 20 Real, damit ich überhaupt übernachten kann. Daher kaufe ich erstmal nix. Welcome back, officers. First things first, what are you doing here, man on the waterlock? My friend Barry the butcher is stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him company and eating his salami. From the corner of your eye, you see a man in a yellow shirt and grey overalls waving at you from across the canal. He seems disappointed about the wreckage on the waterlock and the salami. The man on the waterlock picks the skin off a slice of a salami and takes a sizable bite. Very good stuff. Anything I can do for you, officer? Do you know what caused this wreckage? I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Revachol. The words daredevil driver sounds ominous to you. Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. You know what's further down the coast? Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation though. There always seems to be something wrong with it. Thinks for a moment. Yeah, not really much else, just bombed out ruins. Can I have some of that salami? Sure thing. He cuts off a slice of salami. It is salty, it is savory, it is chewy. The hangover only makes the salami more tasty. Want some too, officer? He turns to the lieutenant. Lieutenant ponders the offer for a moment, then decides to go for it. Why not? He takes a slice of salami from the man and chews on it. Right, bye. A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Ich weiß immer noch nicht. Beneath it, a small metal plate. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you across the canal. But there's a crashed Samaritan butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. Pull. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk, then nothing happens. Push it harder. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea interrupts the silence of the situation. The lieutenant hums to himself while staring at your activities. Release. Close waterlock on Wednesday. Huh? A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? Pull the lever again. Pull the lever all the way up until the middle. Okay. Wednesday. Was haben wir jetzt? Dienstag, oder? Ja. Okay, am nächsten Tag ist ready. Okay. So, den dritten Fahrer haben wir immer noch nicht gefunden. Dem noch mal reden.
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man.
Was für weiße Checks haben wir eigentlich? Joyce. Concept, impossible. Nochmal Choice. Backyard Wall. Können wir nochmal probieren. Nice. Sleeping Dog Worker. Ah, das wäre schön, wenn das mir anzeigen wird, wo genau die Dinger sind. Also die Wand weiß ich, wo sie ist. Werden wir wahrscheinlich wieder nicht schaffen, aber wenn es verfügbar ist, können wir es ja probieren. Sleeping Dog Worker ist... Keine Ahnung, wo der genau ist. Kunos Vater haben wir auch noch nicht gefunden irgendwie. Must be another way into the building. Ja, wär schön. Ich habe auch mein Brecheisen ausgerüstet. Einklicken. Nee. Keinen direkten Weg hin. Oma vielleicht.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
Stop banging on the door. I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
Hold on, who am I speaking to?
It don't matter who I am. Now, go on, get out of here.
From within comes the faint sound of a broom sweeping across the concrete floor.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here.
But I'm not joking.
No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door. Backyard door. Hey Frau, kannst du mich reinlassen, bitte?
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Ah.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Got some more questions about reality. What is... Think of something close to you. Ernsthaft! Reach for something fundamental. Yeah! What is all of it? The scent, the sound, the air? What world is this? What world? The fading pearls of her eyes look to the sea. The only one, I suppose, the world of matter and the pale antipode. The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water. What do you see? Great bodies of water, forest-covered surfaces, clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage, we all have. This world is enough, she concludes. There's a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century when humanity was high on this world. Discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included... What is it? Elysium. Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment. It does. There are those who call it hell. What is hell? A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the mask petrofascists. I don't feel like I haven't gotten the whole picture yet. You want a picture of the world? She raises her finger to her lips. There's no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit. How come? Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we are viewing the world from the inside, sideways. Inside, sideways? What shape is this world then? We used to think it was a sphere. But that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORT nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s. ORT Occident Reverschallgrad. There's a steadily increasing trickle of images between the big three scientific contributors. They're piecing together a dark grey corona. A dark grey corona? What? Yes, she pauses. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolars. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago. Cold fear seeps into you. Oh my god! Wait, what the hell are you telling me? You seem to be spooked. Please don't be. Her voice becomes homely, calm. She lets a moment pass. Pale? Then what do you mean corona? They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or to speak more plainly, imagine vast swaths of land disrupted by nothingness. Kugelförmig. Moment, heißt Corona nicht Krone? Irgendwie. Ich weiß gar nicht mehr. I'm sorry, dear. She looks around. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the great questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound. A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's gonna bring anyone together. You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's... She looks up. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it. Well, if you say it's disco... See? Everyone finds something worth holding onto this Everyone finds something worth holding onto in this world, however wasted its opportunities. The cold seeps into you, the air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly you're conscious of yourself standing there on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. Lip. The lieutenant observes you both silently. He adjusts his glasses. You said pale. What is pale? The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality. Yes, the lieutenant looks at his watch. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. Remember, we have a cadaver to attend to. His voice is low, but firm. All she can say is... Of course, Lieutenant. She bows, then turns to you. Let's try something else. What do you mean it's not part of reality? Ma'am, he turns to her again. Remember, you're dealing with a very sensitive and impressionable police officer who is still recovering from a recent medical episode. The lieutenant's right. Let's change topics. She gives you a little wink. What do you want to know? Anything. But she wants to tell you. You could sneak back later when he's not around, unless you can convince him to step aside. Okay. Oh! Good idea, just ask him. He won't make a scene. Can I talk to the ma'am alone for a second? Fine. He steps away with his notes. See, what can he do? You're a grown man. Now, what is the pail? Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant. Yes, what is the pail? Okay, she concedes. The pail is the most dominant geological feature of the world, detective. The separative tissue between the isolars. It is the inter-isolary mass. Wait, and what is an isolar? Isolar is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the pale, also isolation or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries we have discovered 7. Mundi, Seol, Samaran, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde. And Insulinde is an oceanic isolar. It comprises mostly of water. Mundi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? She stops. Each is perishing and dear. Okay, what is the pale like? Achromatic, odorless, featureless, the pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness. It is here? No, detective, we're safe. She points to the sea. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north and even more to the south, east and west. You are in the middle of the isola. As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach. And there, an uproar of matter, darling, rising into the pale. Rolling, evaporating even, a great vision, the area of transition between the world and the pale is called porch collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist, cold vapor, marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism, a mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's... She closes her eyes and breathes out heavily. The most disco thing you will ever see. What are its physical qualities? It's difficult to describe or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension. Right down to the mathematical numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible. Okay. If we're surrounded by pale, how do you get from isola to isola? Oh, it is... Her lungs deflate. Her words sound like a sigh. So difficult for us. A squad of birds, hardware operating in the harbor. Firm, self-evident. It is possible to force dimensions on the pale. In modern times we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost or having our minds damaged. A Pale can damage the mind? Extensively. How? Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading. That it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past. What does this over-radiation feel like? It feels terrible, absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year. You are not a civilian passenger? No, nameless detective of the citizens' militia. I am a member of the anthroponetic business class. I am cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually. Perhaps that explains his strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories. Do lorry drivers pass the Pale? Yes, carried in the hulls of airships, she nods. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon. You should ask the Pale driver about this. See what she says. That poor woman must have stories to tell like you wouldn't imagine. Are you over-radiated? Up to my gills, officer. What is anthroponetic? Anthroponetics, she corrects, is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it, by way of grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Percarnassians called it the Western Plain. Did they cross it, the Western Plain? There are signs of pretermodern progress. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years. What has anthroponetics changed then? Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later. Aerostatic craft? Hybrid airships, a detective, conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended. Once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end, if we throw them precisely. If we do not, then they don't. How much Pale is there compared to the world? The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping. Slipping how? To our detriment, or... What do you think, detective? She looks you in the eye. It's growing. There's more and more of the Pale. Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything, but this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists. It's not extreme at all, it's going to happen. Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore our downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same. Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open. Off we go into the wild Pale yonder. One and all, She closes her eyes. They say pale as death, but for the universe. Why should we just leave and the world get left behind? Let's return to reality, please. Yes, sweet reality. She stomps her foot. But before we do, tell me, detective. Is this the first time you hear this? Do you really not remember anything? I sometimes sense vague shadows of a past, and it's not good. Then tell me, what do you think of the pail? You're right, it's Discord. Her eyes tense. Crow's feet radiate from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face. You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, detective. If you don't know even this, then... She stops mid-sentence. It'll be a fucking disaster, I know it. All those people will die. Still yourself, officer, she says in a reassuring manner. Your colleague, Lieutenant Kitsuragi, he's competent. I checked up on him. And you also have me. I will try to assist you in any way I can. Some of that assurance is meant for herself as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here. Level up! Nice. Even if we have to do it one basic term at a time, gives you a slight bow. Good, Lieutenant returns. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now? That was fucking insane, Kim. Yes, well, he thinks. The rest of us have dealt it for thousands of years, so he looks around a little uncomfortable now. You will have to deal with it too, the lieutenant thinks. This is why I didn't want you to know. Right, let's get to work, Lieutenant. Good luck. Yeah. Kann wieder was Neues lernen. Oder internalisieren. Was ist das für eine beschissene Welt, in der dieses Spiel spielt? Ja, es gibt 7 Kontinente und alle Kontinente sind umgeben von einem Ding, von etwas, das Pale genannt wird, und wenn du da drin bist, wirst du immer verrückter. Und je weiter du reingehst, desto weniger Sinn macht alles, beziehungsweise desto weniger Naturgesetze funktionieren und was weiß ich. Ja. Was haben wir da? Masovian Socioeconomics, Indirect Modes of Taxation, Kingdom of Conscience, Finger Pistols. Was haben wir denn? Research Time 1 Stunde 1,25. Das dauert am längsten. Könnte vielleicht am effektivsten sein. Okay. Ah ja, und das komische Pale-Zeug wächst immer weiter und irgendwann ist es, umgibt's alles und ja, Menschheit ist kaputt. Den kann ich nicht reden. Yay, ich hab genug Geld. Gott, du Sack. Ich hab deine 20
Can I
Real.
help you?
All my bill for tonight. Ja.
Look, the insane police officer is back.
Ja. Small man mimes blowing his brains out. You see his red face contorted in mock despair, his fingers touching his temple.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Are you the hardy girl? I am not, she says dryly. You could be Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model. Even a Her face stiffens. Glenn, I went to law school. I'm an attorney. He's right, with a face like that, she could be on the cover of La Debutante Internationale. He's right, you know, you're very pretty. Cold look in her eyes speaks louder than words. She's not amused. What are you going to do to me? Lieutenant is not satisfied with the approach. What are we going to do to you? She starts laughing. It's a cold laughter devoid of joy. You were specifically asked not to say that, and then you said it anyway. You junior delinquent, but you still did. The union isn't going to do anything to you. It is not a crime syndicate, it is a labor organization. Gruff humph from the table. God damn right it is. If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people. She shakes her head, but we digress.
Looking for something, Rund? Huh? Coming to tell me to fuck off again?
You could push him by asking him to show you the soles of his boots. He definitely looks like someone capable of lynching. Let me see the soles of your boots. Been admiring the stumpers, Rund? He grins. Sure, I can demonstrate them. He lifts up to show you his left foot, then the right. Look at this hole. On the bottom of the man's boots you see an intricate tangle of threads with no immediately discernible pattern. The wind howls over the bay of forever shore, a cascade of cold air flowing through the city streets. Those same streets have left their share of scuff marks on the underside of your green snakeskin shoes. What's up with your souls? It's River Shore. Where did you get boots like that? Custom made. Cost me a pretty penny. Rubs the back of his balding head. But why? You'll see when the time comes, officer. He grins and caresses the side of his boot. True patriot carry Revachol in their very souls. Technically, you're stomping on Revachol every step you take. Ah, condescending chod. I knew you people don't understand poetry. What are you hauling? Not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some cargo, but the dock workers are on strike, so it's a sit and wait on your ass situation. What kind of cargo are you supposed to pick up? Apples. Apples? Yeah, apples. I take it you had other questions? He's giving you the runaround. Let's be honest, you were a bastard. What? You're a lorry man, right? What's your stance on drugs? Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. He takes a long drag on his cigarette. The smell of booze and cigarettes. What's different about narcotics? You know where that shit comes from? Zara Mirisa, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage. Racial economic sabotage. There's your in. Take his side in this particular fight. Listen, I agree, it's our responsibility to keep this poison off the streets of River Shore, right? He eyes you warily, unsure how to respond. This goes on for about 2 seconds, then... Damn, it didn't work. You should have signaled your nationalist before. Nah. I don't know shit, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you. He puffs on a cigarette. Then what are you still hanging around here for? Most other camionneurs have left. What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. There's those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer. There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby. I did see one lorry with the trailer doors open on my way here. Do you know what happened? Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved his country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Whirling in Rex when some kip boy smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. He takes a long suck on his cigarette, appearing to savor the taste. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to. Bad for him, I guess. The man shakes his head, dismayed, furiously pulling on his cigarette. It's a fucking travesty is what it is. If it's not you, then who's running drugs through Terminal B? There's an obvious fucking ceiling. That beady-eyed South American. He spits on the ground. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well. I knew there was something off about that guy. That's the one. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. The lorryman takes a slow, satisfied drag and blows a smoke ring. He's your man, alright? 100%. He's a lorryman selling his employer stuff. Broke the seals on his Humanox lorry. No doubt he's selling drugs too. I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what Stealing himself has to say. Guess we need to pay Stealing a visit then. Guess so. He grins, contented with himself. We're done for now. Stealing! Bunk. Worn-beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting. Lieutenant looks down the street. We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go. You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi is gone. Ah, okay. Stealing. Hast du Drogen?
Everything's still cool here, officer.
So, Stealing, what's your stance on drugs? Drugs? For a moment, he's unsure how to respond. I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you are into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. He kisses his fingers. Tasty, tasty drugs. I'm super into drugs. That's very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale, or at my home, or on my person. So it appears to be true. No drugs inside. Not in the box of sunglasses or under the speakers. Under the speakers? In the speakers? No. We're looking for a lorry driver who is transporting drugs out of the harbor. He or she is in this traffic jam. That's even cooler. You're investigating that and all. But... he points to the goods. I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that. But you are a lorry man. Another driver has identified you and your lorry. Who said that? It's the fat fascist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater. So, you admit you're a lorry driver? No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. He stops to think. Realizing he can't get out of it. Smart man. Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream. He spreads his arms. Stealing, my source tells me you're the one transporting drugs for the Union. No, that's insane. It's the fat hater. He's been eyeing me for a week and he sent you here. Maybe he's the one, huh? Have you thought about that? Stop squirming. What do you know about the drug operation at the harbor? Nothing, I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd. And what crowd is that? Crowd, you know, the drug crowd. He doesn't want to talk about them. He's afraid. Who are you afraid of, Stealing? Look, he looks around and lowers his voice. There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've spent 15 years working my way up. If you don't want to get into this mess, you have to give us a reason to move on. It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her... He shakes his head. She's no lady. Interesting. Could this driver be connected to the Hardy Boys? While these other drivers would talk. All of them? I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want us to be cool now. Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist? Or the other one with the tattoos? He points north. All of them? Even the ones who've left? I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. Is the lady driver, the old woman back there, dazed out, strange? I don't know, maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you. It could be she was strange. Could she be associated with the Hardy Boys? I don't know, I'm the local. I don't know anything about that. Okay, we're cool now. Alright, he snaps back to his usual self. Ice cold! Let's cap this off by a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detectives. Follow you, you deserve it. Alright, are you the lady driver? Did you just call me a lady, Sherife? She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it. I was told of a woman driver. You're the only woman here. I'm not that either, Sherife. Smile dissipates. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul. So you're not the driver everyone is terrified of? I'm only terrifying to small children, and to those who used to know me. Then who is the female driver I was told of? How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other camioneurs, sniffing around when I have my movies to go to? Why are you scary to the people who used to know you? Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was. You said long haul. That's the big ones. The tracts. There's no woman and man there. It's all just... She hums along as if to track on repeat. To a track on repeat. In the middle of this town there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay. You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates and all you see is an aging woman. That's all I needed to know, thanks. I think I know what's going on with you. And what is that? She sticks a filterless cigarette into her cigarette holder and reaches for the light. You're a Pale driver. You transport goods through the Pale. Great. The lieutenant concedes with a head shake. He asked the Pines rep about the Pale and now he's talking to everyone about it. Fine then, he sighs. Just try not to black out again. And don't contemplate. We don't have time for that. Everything is related to the Pale, my condition, the case, everything. It's all anthroponetic. That is exactly what I didn't want you to think. He sighs and turns to the woman. Ma'am, my partner wanted to know if you work in Pale transport. No offense, but your partner... She lights the cigarette. A white and silver cloud of smoke disappears into her mouth. Seems like a bit of an idiot. She breathes out. The air tastes sweet. I blacked out after a night of heavy drinking and lost all memory of the world. Like Gabriel Buenguero in Pergunta Puera. She nods and smiles unkindly. You're the opposite of me then. I remember everything, even things I never knew. Things you never knew? The smell liquor on Gabriel's lips after the shot in the motor park, the roses on the day of Franco Negro's coronation, on the grand stairs of Rael, the smoke from the fowling piece when Dolores Day was shot, the look on her face like an orgasm, the wound in her chest, my hand in my father's hand. She closed her eyes, her eyelids trembling. Except I never had a father, and I never shot her innocence, Dolores Day. Isn't that dangerous? Thought insertion, dithering, the grad cutler magistral. She savors the lungful. It's more than dangerous, it's sad. But at first I had to make a living. Now, when you've seen it all go away like that, rolling off like the sea, and then come back to this. She gestures at the square, the broken horse monument, the clanging of machines in the distance. What are we doing here? For thousands of years, Gabriel, it doesn't have to be like this. We can just give up. We can just become vapor. What does it look like? Pale. Like looking into the ocean at night, in the dark. And you cannot see it, but you know it's there. And it's big, bigger than anything. Bigger than all the other things combined. What does it feel like? Nothing. Until it starts. When you're deep enough, then, for me, it's like autumn. Dark gray and orange. The orange of streetlights and the color of trees in the electric light. It smells like autumn too. It smells terrible. Nostalgia. Cooped up in the cabin, shaking. Terrible nostalgia. For yourself, for humans. It's too much to bear. She loves it. How do you pass through it? In the belly of an airship, behind steel windows, so you don't look straight into it. It's not advised to look into it. Not on this lorry then? No, the same one. Roller. They all are nowadays. Special wheels for connecting to the floor on the hold. She points to the machines clumped up like toys. The wheels all small and round, multi-axle trailers. One last thing, you said you can just become vapor? Weak. Yes. I feel I already have what you have in some way. They say there is a point, one that I have not crossed, in the pale super deep. If you stray too far off course on the U-41A or in Lomonosov's land, where every step you take is one step further from home, no matter the direction. It's a point you cannot come back from. Your mind becomes so radiant with the past. There's a flip. She flicks the ash from a cigarette. Instead of writing, it erases memory, nearing some kind of, she shakes her head, indescribable finale. Maybe you've been down the motorway south? She looks at her cigarette. It's almost out. She has swallowed it hungrily. Then at you. The motorway south? It's a story us longhauls-men tell. Longhauls-men, Jerife, not pale drivers. Way beyond the established pale that's lit by radio frequencies, where it goes silent. And dark. And the process begins. Erasure. Kilometer by kilometer. In any direction. The motorway south is a road you cannot come back from. What is at the end of the motorway south? No one knows what's at the end. She takes the cigarette off the cigarette holder and extinguishes it. I've only glimpsed the beginning. I've only felt it in the distance, when I was a child. She goes on, her eyes closed and her hands shake. A child rowing on the lake. Well, Rosianna! A sigh escapes her lips, then silence as she stares within herself. There's nothing more to do now, she's far away. You've fried both your brains enough for today, detective. He inspects her, no response. Let's get some air. This one's far gone. He shakes his head silently as he turns to leave. Motorway south. Ja, machen wir das. Wieder da. Willkommen zurück. Okay. Du kommst perfekt zur Pause. Ja. Okay. Ja, mehr World Building heute. Also anscheinend von den dreien oder 4 Fahrern ist es angeblich anscheinend keiner, der die Drogen transportiert, sondern irgendwer anders. Mal gucken, ob wir die Person finden. Beim nächsten Mal dann.